How does moral relativism affect the argument? How does moral relativism affect the argument? This question dives into the heart of philosophical discussions about ethics and morality. Moral relativism suggests that moral judgments are not universal but depend on cultural, social, or individual perspectives. This means that what one culture sees as right, another might view as wrong. So, how does this idea influence the moral argument for God? The moral argument for God often claims that objective moral values exist independently of human opinion. However, moral relativism challenges this idea. If morality is relative, the notion of a universal moral lawgiver, like God, becomes less convincing. Instead of being grounded in a divine source, moral laws appear contingent on human cultures. Next, let's consider the debate between moral realism and anti-realism. Moral realism argues that moral facts are objective and exist outside of human beliefs. On the other hand, anti-realism denies this objectivity. Moral relativism aligns more with anti-realism, suggesting that moral judgments are true only within specific contexts. This weakens arguments that relying on objective moral facts to support the existence of God or a moral order. Moral relativism also highlights the many disagreements about moral issues across cultures and history. This observation raises doubts about the idea that all fundamental moral disagreements can be resolved by appealing to a single, objective moral truth. Such skepticism complicates the moral argument for God, which often assumes that moral disagreements can be settled by referencing God's moral law. Another aspect to consider is the normative consequences of moral relativism. This view encourages tolerance for different moral perspectives. It suggests that no one has exclusive access to moral truth. While this promotes peaceful coexistence, it also means that arguments for a single moral authority, like God, face challenges. Respecting moral diversity becomes a priority, making it harder to claim that one moral framework is the ultimate truth. In practical terms, moral relativism encourages examining moral claims within their cultural or social contexts. This approach can lead to more sensitive ethical discussions and policies. However, it may also create challenges for establishing common moral standards needed for global cooperation or legal systems. In summary, moral relativism significantly affects ethical arguments by questioning the existence of absolute moral truths. This questioning shifts the focus from universal moral laws to context-dependent moral understandings. As a result, it complicates claims of objective morality and the justification for a divine moral lawgiver. While promoting tolerance and pluralism, moral relativism also challenges the idea that moral disagreements can be definitively resolved through an appeal to absolute moral authority.